All right, so it looks like we're live. So welcome everyone who is here on the live stream. Anybody catching the recording, welcome to you as well. Today, what we're gonna do is I'm gonna try to redesign my personal website here. So this is josephlebrec.com. It redirects to memoryspiral.com, and really, I've had this website the same sort of information and format and everything for it's got to be at least 5 years. It's probably more. And it's just a basic landing page right now. So, you've just got photo, you've got bio under that. And then underneath, you've got links to different things. So, like, if you want to go to my Amazon author profile, if you want to go to my Behance profile, it's there. My LinkedIn learning stuff, Twitter, all that stuff's like right there. So, I mean, for what it is, it works well enough. But yeah, I'm kind of wondering what I could do to make this just a little bit nicer, a little bit more modern. And it'd be nice to be able to pull in different things. So I've got my blog here, In Flagrante Delicto. And, I could pull the RSS feed here. If I wanted to, and pull in important things like book release or something like that. It might make sense to include that inside of a redesign. Everything's very centered right now. It's not. I'm getting tired of it. So my idea is to redo it, and that's sort of the impetus for this this session and sessions to come, because I figure this will take like 2 or 3 iterations to work on. And I'm not sure how long I'm going to make this work. So, I could go through and, just do this inside of something like Adobe XD, which is what we're going to be working in today. But I could also take it further. I could take it into Dreamweaver and actually like build out the site and so forth. We'll see what happens in XD and where I might want to take this, as we get into it. So let's just get a look here. Well. That's frustrating. There's that. All right, so let's see. Yeah, you don't know what I'm referring to. Sorry. All right, so what we've got here is the little website. And we want to go into XD and just fix this up a bit. Before we get into too much else, I have an Animate workshop coming up in March. So this is coming up as part of AIGA Connecticut branch. And they just published this today. So we've been working on this for a little bit. And we're going to create HTML5 ads inside of Adobe Animate using the HTML5 canvas document type. And it's going to be sort of like a step-by-step, go along here. So this is the URL. It's connecticut.aiga.org/event/animate.-workshop. And I'll go ahead and pop this into our, let's see, into our chat here. There we go. So yeah, feel free to chat. I've got an eye on the chat over there on that monitor, so things will, they'll move along, right? God, Adobe, I swear. Okay. Anyhow. Right on. So let's have a look. Turn chat on and off. Is that off? No. Is chat disabled? I know they were having some issues with it yesterday, so chat might be disabled. If you have a Twitter account, let me know on Twitter if chat is disabled for you or not. It looks like nothing is really going according to plan today, which I don't know. Maybe I should just stop streaming and have this be what it is. But I could always go on too. Super frustrating that there's no chat. Sorry about that. I think that's a platform-wide issue. Also, yeah. Anyhow, let's not complain live. So let's open up not Adobe Animate. I'm so used to saying it. Adobe XD. And inside of XD, of course, I want to go ahead and create a new project specifically for web. And I'm also going to go through and, I don't know, I should create sort of like a mobile version of what I want that to see too. So this is why this is called part 1 here. When I initially thought about this idea for a stream, I was like, I'll just get it done really quickly. There's not a lot to my current website, so not a big deal. But, now that I think about it, if this gets very complicated, which it could, it might be worth breaking this into parts. So I know it's going to be at least 2 parts. So I'll be doing this next week as well for part 2. And yes. Yeah, it looks to me absolutely. I cannot switch chat on and off. So very unfortunate. Oh well. What can you do? So I'm going to go ahead and create a new web-based preset here, an artboard, a new document. And I'm just going to use, let's use 1280 by 800. I always think these are funny, these like web settings inside of XD or any other program that has something specifically for web, just because, web is whatever size it is, right? Like you can change your browser viewport to anything. These are just kind of like starters, but I always think it's so weird that we're still kind of caught up in like that web is a specific, aspect ratio, a specific resolution that you should design for. That's always been weird to me. But I'm going to go with this one here, 1280 by 800. And there we go. I've got my little web artboard. So I see a number of other people have joined. Apologies for, that there's not a chat. At least I think there's not a chat. Maybe I'm wrong. But yeah, got some technical problems today that are out of my control. All right, so I got a couple plugins that need to be updated. Let's go ahead and open my plugin manager here. Stark, I can't even remember what that is. Accessibility and inclusivity, let's uninstall that. And web export, okay, we can keep that one because I might use it as part of this process. So there we go, our plugins are updated. And I'm just going to rename this artboard to desktop. There we go. And we should also have a mobile version of the artboard too. So let's create a new artboard. I'm going to go to my artboard tool here. And for mobile, I'm just going to choose, I don't know, Google Pixel 4. And there we go. And then rename this to mobile. Oops, didn't mean to make another one. Undo that. And yeah. Let's blow that up. Make it nice and big. Check and see if anything's going on here. Yeah, I don't see any chat coming in, so I am pretty sure that chat is dead for now. Yeah. I swear. Okay. So let's go ahead and just start thinking about things through here. So inside of my, where is it? There we go. So let's close out my Animate Workshop. Go back to josephlebrec.com. So yeah, I've got like an H1 here, right? Like a subtitle, like an H2. I've got my image. I've got my bio, and then I've got a list of links. So pretty good. So this is what we need to focus on as we go through here. I'm going to select my desktop artboard. And, inside of XD, I don't often use the sort of column and grid structure that's available. However, for the web, I would definitely suggest that you do turn it on. And the reason for this is because most of the time, and of course this isn't, there's many exceptions to every rule, right? But if you're looking at things like, like the web, you're probably going to be building on some kind of a CSS framework. Not a lot of people just write their own CSS layout stuff in terms of grid from the get-go anymore. They're usually using something like Bootstrap, like Foundation. I've always been a Bootstrap fan. There's another one that Ray Villalobos, I'm going to say his name wrong, Villalobos at LinkedIn Learning. He's been mentioning a one called, I think it was Tailwinds or something like that. Let me see here. And I have not looked at that at all yet. But the thing is, all of these particular... yeah, here it is. Okay, I'm going to pull this over. There you go. So yeah, Tailwind CSS. Rapidly build modern websites without ever leaving your HTML. So yeah, this is another type of framework that you can use. Aside from Bootstrap. If you're tired of Bootstrap, when I used to do stuff as a, as a sort of web UI person in my previous position, I used Bootstrap all the time. Bootstrap was what we used for just about every single application, right? And it was good. All right, I'm seeing inside of Behance there being a major issue here, which I'm not sure what that's about. But, gosh, this is really bad. Let me take an image of this, just a quick screen capture and share it with my team. So there's something going on for sure with Behance right now. And I wish that I could get feedback from you all in the chat, but it doesn't seem like I can. Oh, it's back. It just popped back in. That is very, very strange. A huge delay. It's me just popping into the grids here. Anyhow, so tailwind.css is something that... yeah, maybe we can have a look at actually using this instead of Bootstrap when we go through and, make practice of this. Sizing, color, typography, which is nice that there's something new, right? Because Bootstrap has been around for a long, long time at this point. They're into Bootstrap 5, which is fine, but, it's always good to try out new things. And, yeah, when it comes to the web, I don't do a lot of web work anymore at all, really. Just my personal website and everything. So this is going to be something interesting to look at. Now, whenever I see something like this, I get very apprehensive about it. So if installation, hopefully installation does not rely on npm, which if you don't know is Node Package Manager. So with Node Package Manager, you of course have to have Node installed. And if you got Node installed, you've got a whole build process set up where, you're relying on a million different dependencies to actually write a hello world application, which, you should probably just be writing CSS at that point. Anyhow, let's have a look here. Let's actually get into this. Enough distractions. So for my fill color, I mean, I'm always partial to a darker sort of background. So, you got straight black, but I usually tweak it a little bit. 19, 19, 19. There we go. And if I want to preserve this sort of temporarily here, I can save this as a color swatch, and it saves it right here. Note that saving it as a color swatch inside of the little pop-up here, the color selector, if we go to our document assets, it does not preserve that as a color in our document assets. So you'd have to click the plus button right here in order to do that. And there we go. So I could always rename that to background if I wanted to. I'm just going to keep it at its hex number here. And yeah, no chat. So let's have a look at mobile. So with mobile, we could always wait, but this is something easy enough. I can just say, hey, let's just throw that on there too. So I've got my initial color, and note that, I am using a dark color for this. I like dark mode a lot in terms of UI, whether it's for the web, for different applications that I'm using, whatever. And dear Adobe XD team, can we please, I've been asking for years, and I know a lot of other people have too, for years now, please give us a dark UI, the ability to switch between light UI and dark UI. Right now, there's one UI color for XD, and anything else that you do, there is nothing else. And it's sort of mind-boggling that an application that's supposed to be for experience design, doesn't have that fundamental choice. And maybe I'm just being salty today because of the other difficulties going on with the stream and other things, and being very hungry. But yeah, you might get salty Joseph today when we go through here. So apologies. I don't mean to be mean. So there we go. We got our background. So if you recall, I turned on all the columns, right, for our design. And, by default, you got 12 columns in a web-based layout. Foundation uses it, Bootstrap uses it. Almost everybody uses that as sort of like a default way of laying things out, spreading things across the viewport in the browser. So I know I'm going to need a couple things here. But one thing that I definitely want is I want the ability to have, as mentioned before, I want to bring out either like my blog feed or like maybe even like, in some sort of an iframe or something, my LinkedIn learning courses or my Amazon books, my author profile, something like that. Have that stuff along the side so I don't have to constantly be updating in other places. I do have another spot, where I go through and, every time I have a new book, every time I have a new, video publication or whatever, I update a couple of pages in order to reflect that. And, it's kind of a pain. It is what it is, but it'd be nice if I could pull it all into this one website. So we'll think about how to do that, whether it's using some sort of an RSS feed that we break apart through JavaScript, or if we just use a stupid iframe to do it, right? So here's the thing too, like, I know I'm already like a little on edge today about things, but just talking about web development for a moment, even before I left web development, I wanted desperately to do something else. The web, it can be fun, but it can also be a horrible place to work. And what am I trying to say here? The way that web browsers have restricted things and have really like tightened the screws down on your thumbs has been super problematic for people who want to go anywhere past just like simple markup, right? So if you want to do stuff that goes beyond just laying out text, marking text up with HTML, if you want to do creative stuff inside of the web browser, you're better off looking somewhere else in 2020 and 2021. It's kind of like a dead end creatively. So you might be like, well, why you even like care about the website then, right? I care about it because, you can take it to a certain point. You just need to understand the limitations of the layout. So, you've got your HTML, you've got your CSS to style it and, lay it out across the page. You have to look at it and say, like, these are my limitations. I'm going to work within my limitations. The people who control the web for what it is have decided this is how things are. And we are powerless to do anything about it. All right, so I'm going to choose my text tool. And, right now, maybe the thing to do is to actually just lay things out as they are right now inside of my current website. And if we do that, we can then, of course, in XD, move stuff around, resize things, and add additional components. This might be the way to do it. So I'm going to put in my name. So Joseph R. Lebrat, M.A. And right now, we're using Helvetica New. 20-point type, which is super small. Let's change that. Make it nice and big. It's a personal website. I should be promoting myself here, so there we go. Let's just make it white for now. Keep it nice and simple. And we want to center align this. And we also want to change the type. So here's another thing about XD that kind of is befuddling, is that XD has a list of font names that you can access, right? Other applications like Adobe Photoshop and Illustrator and so forth, have the fonts presented in a much nicer way. You can, choose your typeface. You can choose the different weights, the different variations in your typeface. It also groups them in logical ways. You can filter them, and it gives a preview of what it actually looks like, right? So to do this inside of XD, you have to kind of just click on something and see what's what. Let's just go with this one for now. So this is it. I happen to know this is an Adobe font. So P22 Franklin Caslin. And let's extend that out to somewhere around there. Maybe I will actually resize this. So let's make use of this grid. And this is how you use the grid, right? You basically use it to snap elements to the different columns. So here in my grid, I've snapped it to the inner 10 columns. So we got one column on each outside each outer piece here. So funny thing, I have no idea if I'm even streaming right now because of the lack of chat and because of the weird messaging I got. Right now, it's actually come back in terms of the video preview that I get access to. However, it's super laggy. It's way behind. I'm going to pull down my opacity on these columns because I don't need it that pronounced. There we go. So that's looking a bit better. And let's actually move this down a bit. So this is one of the things I've complained about XD a couple times here. This is one of the things I really like about XD is the amount of smart guides that you get when you're going through and trying to position things, to size things, and so forth. That is really nice to have. All right, so I got my name. Website done. Let's call it a day, everyone. Just kidding. Let's copy some of this junk. So I've got a couple of little bits and pieces here. I'm going to just copy that because I don't want to have to retype it all over the place. Choose my type tool again. Just paste it in there. And it's remembering, of course, the size and the font and all the other stuff that I've already chosen. So I'm just going to pull that back a little bit. I don't want it to be so big. Maybe something like that's going to work. And of course, we can also go through and maybe I want that to be 50 pixels from here. So we got 50 pixels from the top, 50 pixels from my main header, my name. All right. So let's go ahead now and put in the bio. I'll deal with the image and everything later, I guess. All right. You know, we could always put in like a placeholder for the image too, which in that case, you know, I don't know, maybe I'll do like a circular. I know it isn't circular right now, but you know, have a circular image for that. So this will be my placeholder for my headshot. And that is spanning 4 columns, and it is centered once again. Now, I'm quickly running out of room here, right? I can always go through and resize my artboard whenever I want, just by clicking the artboard and just pulling that down some more, right? So this will probably give me enough time. I still have the ability to have my complete viewports here inside of XD, which is nice. That's indicated by the little movable dash blue line here. And if I make sure to choose this artboard, you can see that scrolling is enabled. And I've got my viewport height at 800, which is what we started with. We started with a 1280 by 800. So let's go ahead and add in some text. So I can't recall right now if, there we go. Let's copy this. I think I may have already copied it, but that's okay. And yeah, let's start. We can always tweak this as we go. I'm going to pull it out really large right now. And paste in my current bio. 26 points right now. Take it down to 22. And we're probably not going to want the same typeface here, right? So this is, I mean, it's nice. I like that it's all chunky. It's sort of distressed, like me. Cool. Let's go ahead, though, and choose something else. So again, because we don't have a preview here, I'm gonna have to make decisions around like what actually should this be. So maybe like, you know, just going off of recognition here. I mean, you always got Helvetica, right? Let's just go to Helvetica for my, well, Helvetica is so damn common. Firasons. That's nicer. Okay. Let's use Firasons, which I think is also an Adobe font. I can't quite recall. And oops. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and save this guy. So I'm gonna call this Joseph Lebrac redesign. And it's gonna be in all caps. Because why not? Save. All right. So then underneath here, we've got, of course, our list items. So if I want to go ahead and see how this looks right now, I can always go to my desktop preview right here. And it brings it up. So immediately, I see a couple things. The spacing here is off. So if I want 50 pixels between each thing, and actually this one I would like to nudge up a little bit as well. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's just go up to 40 on this guy, or 30 maybe. 30, boom. And then the image. Let's go to 40 on the image. And we'll also go 40 here. It'll match. So here again, XD, very cool. It sees that relationship where I've already got 40 defined as a gutter, a margin, whatever you might want to call it, in one spot. So it defines it again in another spot for me. Cool. Let's go ahead and try that again. Desktop preview. See, that looks a lot better. And it looks like really similar to what we've got going on right now too, right? On the actual current version of the website, which, let's bring it up. There we go. So yeah, current version is like this. It's old. It's old. It's old. It's old. I want to get something new. So here we go. So now I need to figure this stuff out. So, you know, oldest trick in the book here. If you go ahead and inspect, it's going to bring up your developer tools here. And you can go through and see all the different little list items. So again, you know, we were talking about Bootstrap. This is using Bootstrap here. It's an older version, most likely. I think I updated it once, like over the past 6 years or so. But if we go into our head of our document here, we can see, oh my gosh. Yeah, so this is using Bootstrap 4. I think I actually wrote this on like Bootstrap 2. So it's super, super old. Something else you can do, of course, is view source. So let's right click and choose view page source. And for anybody who, you know, is an old time web person, this is what we used to use, right? To learn HTML, is you would view source on pages that you thought you wanted to learn how they did different things. You know, what puts this page together? You'd do a view source, you'd see how it kind of looks, which is one of the cooler things about the web, right? That you're able to do that. It's not compiled code, right? It's just simple markup language that, you know, just defines what pieces of text or other elements, like what their meaning is. So here I'm able to grab a bunch of stuff, right? So I'm able to grab all these different links here. Let's go ahead and move that out of the way. Yeah. So again, apologies that there isn't a chat. I don't know why that is. I didn't do it. So missing a lot of stuff today for some reason. So then we have our list. So this is going to be a little more complicated, right? Right now we've got our list, and it's a very basic kind of like there's a box, and there's a bunch of boxes within those boxes. And of course, that's how the web is, right? It's just a series of nested boxes that we use to define different things. So I'm going to go ahead and let's see, change my border and my fill. Something fairly light. And let's actually turn off. I don't think we need our grid anymore for this part of it. So I'm going to turn off my grid. And we can see exactly what this looks like, right? If you hold down your shift key, you're able to do this sort of deal. Interestingly, it's not giving me my smart guides. Oh, there we go. Boop. There's my smart guides. 40 pixels from there. Thanks so much, XD, for those smart guides. I'm going to change the corner radius a little bit, just like it is in the current version. So what's the corner radius here? $18. Yeah, 18's a good number. And what we're going to do is decide how we want to handle this sort of thing. So I don't know. I mean, I could just make, what's it look like in the actual live version right now? Yeah, I don't know. Ugh. Okay. So maybe it's a little different. So I don't want to do too much design right now if I don't have to. Let's go to 4 as a radius. That's about as big as we're going right there. 66, let's go to 65. Just keep it nice and, although I hate odd numbers. Like if I can get away with like not using an odd number at any time, absolutely I will. And it really bothers me that the width here is 579. Change it to 580. There we go. Now it's centered. Make sure all these are centered nice. All right. So yeah, my goal today is just going to be to lay out the current version of the website like it is currently. And we'll take it from there next week. Going to use my type tool to put in some type. CU Boulder faculty profile. That's my first actual doodad there. And right now this actually, I don't know. It's that color. Let's change the color a bit. And in terms of the type, Georgia. Jeez. Yeah, I wish I could see what these typefaces look like. But yeah, this and dark mode are my two main gripes with XD right now. That you can't see what the type looks like, and that it doesn't have dark mode. Here's a workaround. It's a pain, but it works. You open up your Creative Cloud Desktop application, and you go to Manage Fonts. And then you can actually, my goodness, see a preview of the fonts that you have on your computer. Jensen. I like Jensen. I think I'm actually using Jensen right now for most of the current website. Let's go ahead and choose Jensen. I'm surprised I didn't pick up on Jensen being here as I was going through this. Oh, it's not listed under Jensen. It's listed under Adobe, of course. All right. There we are. So now that I've got this, I want to, of course, make a component out of these two items. So I shift click to select both of them. And then I click plus next to component. There we go. I got component 1 over here. And I'm just going to call this list item. And with that done, I can go ahead and hold down my Option or Alt key and make duplicates. Now, how many list items do I have in my website? I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 right now. So there we go. Now we have everything very similar to how it is in the actual website. Let's go ahead and override some of these bits and pieces here. So this goes to my blog. In flagrante delicto with an exclamation point, of course. Here's my Twitter profile. We've got my LinkedIn Learning author page. Amazon author profile. And then 2 more. We got, oh, my little business. Fractured Vision Media, LLC. And lastly, my Behance profile and live streams. At least I hope this is a live stream. I don't know. I might not be talking to anybody right now. Sadly. There we go. All right. Let's go ahead and have a look. Right on. So here is, right now, the design that we just made. And then we'll compare it to the existing design. Now, it's not exactly the same thing, right? We've got some differences here. So we've got the name, we've got the different titles, affiliations, and so forth. We got an image. We got the bio as we go down. And then following that, we've got our list of different links here. So pretty good for a start. Yeah. Right on. So what I'm going to do is, like I said, there's going to be a part 2. Oops. Why did I do that? Joseph, please. So like I said, there's going to be a part 2 to this. And maybe a part 3 and a part 4. Who knows? But what I'm going to do is take advantage of my cloud documents here. I'm going to go ahead and bookmark this and give it a name. This is Wednesday, February 17th. So that's stupid. It's already got a timestamp. Let's just call it old website layout. There we go. So now I can always refer to this old website layout if I want to. And note that it has to be a cloud-based document in order to do this. So I'm going to save the mobile version for when we actually redesign this. And, maybe I should actually, I don't know, create an old version of this. Just hold down that old. There we go. There's old. And then we've got desktop and mobile right next to it. So yeah. So next Wednesday, we're going to go into this and we're going to fix this up and include those different items that I want to include as part of a website redesign. We're going to shift things around quite a bit and hopefully come up with something pretty nice that I'm going to be happy with and that I'm going to want to go through and actually design and develop and implement as part of josephlebrecht.com. But of course, we'll see what happens with that. And hopefully next time too, that all of these problems are fixed, right? So problems with the Behance platform, problems with the social team that is supposed to promote me that consistently does not, and all the rest of it. Yeah. Anyway, thank you, those who are here. Again, I apologize. There's no chat today. I don't know why there's no chat. Problem with the platform, it seems. And for those watching the replay, apologies. This was not the best stream I've ever done, for sure. Hopefully, though, you got something out of it. And that's all we're looking for here. So, anyhow, have a nice week. Stay safe, everyone. And I'll see you all later on.